drinks or the faint of heart. The foes coming up ahead are bound to make a mark. On our faces they'll be leaving scars. On our graves here's what they're gonna carve. We'll be walking all over you and be snuffing out your flame. We'll be drowning out your voices and be crashing down like tidal waves. Did you think you could scare us, scare us? We're the ones who bring all the terror, terror. Even if the waves keep crashing down, we will never drown, we'll stand our ground. With our heads held high, we will turn the tide, shouting never, never, never say die. Go ahead and try to test me. We are never backing down, never letting up. Go ahead and try to best me. We are never going down, never giving up. Come on, show me what you got. Come on, show me what you got. Don't think for a second that we'll run and hide. Go ahead and try to test me. We are never backing down, cause our hearts are ironclad. If you think I'm caving, you'd be dead wrong, dead wrong. All this time you were just way too headstrong. Coming after me, you don't even realize your head's been stuck high in the clouds, and you're destined to be tumbling. I'll be shading down my list after striking out your names. I'll be tearing up your legacy by conjuring a hurricane that marks you like a cadenza, for the closing act of your era. Even if you still refuse to yield, we will greet you on a battlefield. With our heads held high, you will see our side that goes never, never, never say die. Go ahead and try to test me. We are never backing down, never letting up. Go ahead and try to best me. We are never going down, never giving up. Come on, show me what you got. Come on, show me what you got. Don't think for a second that we'll run and hide. Go ahead and try to test me. We are never backing down, cause our hearts are ironclad.
Putting big red targets on my back, that's the worst plan that you ever hatched.
Cause I've got eyes on the back of my head. So take a hike now while you still can. If you still insist to keep on fighting, be sure to kiss the world goodbye before trying. You don't stand a chance going up against me and my crew, cause we never, never, never say die. Come on, show me what you got now. Go ahead and try to test me. We are never backing down, never letting up. Go ahead and try to best me. We are never going down, never giving up. Come on, show me what you got. Come on, show me what you got. Don't think for a second that we'll run and hide. Go ahead and try to test me. We are never backing down, cause our hearts are iron. Go ahead and try to test me. We are never backing down now. Try to test me. We are never going down, never giving up. Yeah, yeah. Run and hide. Go ahead and we are never backing down, cause our hearts are ironclad. This ain't for the weak links or the faint of heart. The foes coming up ahead are bound to make a mark. On our faces they'll be leaving scars. On our graves here's what they're gonna carve. We'll be walking all over you and be snuffing out your flames. We'll be drowning out your voices and be crashing down like tidal waves. Did you think you could scare us, scare us? We're the ones who bring all the terror, terror. Even if the waves keep crashing down, we will never drown, we'll stand our ground. With our heads
潮が満ちたわ。拙僧剣山。
主の名を掲げ、この旗の下へ集え。
炎の切り捨てん。
信号は安定。いつでも行けるよ。
頑張ります。
信号は安定。いや悪いね、僕は別に信徒じゃないよ。
行け、私たちの実力を見せてあげよう。
Sarà una passeggiata.
ターゲットロックオン。私に来ないで。準備万能のおバカ、うちの子たちをいじめないで。今すごく
Mettiamo fine a questo trambusto il prima possibile.
さあ、もっともっとよ。
即戦即決。
来た来た、へへ当たらないよ。
信号は安定。いつでも行けるよ。
思うがままの戦術でいいよ。来た来た、ここは通さないよ。距離を合わせて。問題ないわ。こういう香りは好き。
Mettiamo fine a questo trambusto il prima possibile.
前菜代わりにもならないね。準備万端だよ。
私のために歌え歌え歌え。
戦場、それは変わらないもの。世相に任せ納豆5本。命令を天面たる山々となれ。Questo ti farà tacere。
主の名を掲げ、この旗のもとへ集え。こんなセリフを一度言ってみたかったんだ。
皆様方、何をお話で？皆様方、再検討のほどを何とぞ。本当に。
いや悪いね、僕は別に信徒じゃないよ。
Un'eliminazione. Il vostro sacrificio non cambierà.
待つことさあ、もっともっとよ。Questo ti farà tacere. Assumo le posizioni designate. 私たちの実力を見せてあげよう。落ち着いて。準備万能。待つことも一種の芸術よ。いつだって僕の居場所を見つけてくれるんだ。来た来た。Le tue ultime parole.
Hai lottato bene, ma non hai scampo. 聞け、私の声、歌を。
ドクターの指示が僕の。
信号は安定。いや悪いね、僕は別に信徒じゃないよ。
あなたならきっとうまく。ちょっと。
私、早く離れてください。お願いします。治療モード適用します。戦場、それは変わらないもの。Questo ti farà tacere。土の上で天面たる山々となり。
私は闇より現れる。
と叱ってやりましょう。ほどほどにね。いいですか？和をもって財を生ずですよ。
いや確かに。
Mission accomplished.
Hello? Hello? Okay, there we go. I am up. But yeah, hello, Al! Oh my god, fuck, yes, Arknights, please, okay, there we go. But yes, oh my god, I love this game so much. I love this game so fucking much. It's so good. Tower Defense is one of my favorite games. Also, forgive me if there's a bit of lag, because I technically do have Bonnie's, like, stream up at the moment. And it doesn't, like, BlueStacks takes so much fucking memory. Oh my god, hello! Ivysaurs, it's good to see you, holy shit. This was like a kind of a vaguely impromptu thing, because I was watching another friend, but, also, you might have just heard that because I'm technically, I have this on my, speakers because I was doing this without mic, but, if you give me a second, I'm gonna switch this back onto, mic, or into my headphones so that it's not, if you don't hear the fucking second echo thing. But yeah, oh my god, also, Al, if you want to post, like, if you have a friend code or if you want to add me, my code is 5167. So, feel free to add me, because I fucking love this game. But yeah, so I've been trying to do more frequent streams, because I've been trying to do, you know, all the daily CC missions and stuff. But my great love is integrated strategies. I fucking love roguelikes and I fucking love tower defense, and this is like the best combo ever. What was it? I was saying, I was also talking about, like, Arknight's story and the different, like, complexities of it. Also, please forgive me if there's lag, because, again, I'm trying to set my sound to the correct fucking thing, and that means I have, to open a bunch of stuff. Which is, OBS doesn't like it. Also, BlueStacks doesn't fucking like it. Oh, you've never seen gameplay of it before? Well, this actually went a lot better than I thought it was. A couple weeks ago, AO! Also, oh my god, settings, why does settings of all things just take so much goddamn memory to open? Please, I just want to edit the fucking sound. Can I open up sound? Is there an easier... But anyways, like, Arknights is fantastic, and the music fucking slaps, and, if you got into this 2 weeks ago, so then you were here for Il Siracusano, and you saw, like, the stuff with, Texas, right? Or a bit of that event, at least. Oh my god. But yeah, like, I know, right, memory. But, oh my god, please. Oh my god, fucking please. Yeah! Texas and Il Siracusano! They're so fun. Again, Arknights is so cool, not just because, like, the game mechanics are so awesome, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. I have so much lag, and I'm very fucking sorry about that. What the hell? BlueStacks! BlueStacks, why are you like this? Good God. BlueStacks, why are you like this? I am so... I just saw that also closed captions just captioned that it's fucking blue sex. Awesome. But, anyways... out of words. Where was I even going with this? I was just, but yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, cause actually the other day, before I rated Shiki, I was talking about, we went through some of Arknight's story, some of the previous events, where I was able to show off, like, the Anonymous One's War Vignette from Operational Intelligence, which was one of the first events. And so that's a real interesting one, because it talks about, like, kind of some of the history with the Doctor, and, a discussion between a couple of the old generals, and how they, and, like, the different merits of, like, war, and like, how... even though, like, war and revolution may only be the way to make real change, it still harms a lot of innocent people, and it's that sort of depth. Like, Arknights is incredible because it really just, like, for a fucking mobile game of all things, it talks about these subjects with a lot of different nuance. Also, I think this might be frozen, so because I can't see if you guys are fucking responding. Yeah, like the moral conflicts and everything. And then, but yeah, it talks about so much different stuff, like, and the detail with it. And that's why, like, Il Sirikisano was super interesting, because it was, like, about the mafia and how it's a fundamental part of the city, and it's how things are, like, under control, right? But then what happens when you want to change it, and what about the innocent people as part of that system? And Il Sirikisano discussed how these young people, this younger generation, is changing things or is able to make change, and then how different people reacted to it. And it's so fun to discuss that kind of stuff. And so that's what I was chatting a whole bunch with that, going over some of these stories before last night, but yeah. God, I don't know where I was going to go with this, but God, I want to read another of the vignettes, to be honest. Okay, well, I want to show off some games. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna do one. I know, it's so fucking deep for a mobile game. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? God, also, I am so sorry, because I can see, like, some of there are so many missed frames right now, because I'm trying to change the fucking sound, and BlueStacks absolutely hates it when I do this. Please, for the love of God. They go so fucking hard. It's absurd. And then some of the characters... Okay, I was talking... I've been talking... This is probably not gonna be tonight again, because I haven't, well, because I was considering doing this, like, today, but then I ended up not feeling great, like, earlier, so I didn't end up doing it on time. But I really want to do, like, a smash or pass for all the operators, because one, it's funny, but then two, it means I get to gush about all the different operators, and talk about, like, the different complexities of their characters, because I had a friend come over the other day, and okay, I think I finally got this sound hooked up to the right thing, if the thing will just adjust in a moment. And then I should be able to close a few fucking things. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so like, a bunch of the operators, so one of the things is that I've been, oh my god. So part of the reason with the Smasher Pass was because Bones was, well, because we were discussing Bones' League Smasher Pass, which was really funny. But it also, you know, it gave him a chance to, you know, gush about a ton of the characters involved. And oh my god, I have been wanting to talk about this fucking angel for the longest time, okay? So, also I just realized I turn off the cursor every so often because I turn off the cursor when we go through some of the story bits. But, oh my god. Oh my god. Excuse me. But so, like, yeah, okay, we're gonna go through. We're actually going to look at Executor's story since you're. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I keep meaning. I'm gonna do. He's so hot. He's so hot. Okay, thank you. We're going to do one of these just to show off a little bit of gameplay. Although this is a little bit of a different gameplay mode than the rest. Also, that's a side note that I really love that they added in a whole bunch of different game modes now. So you have like contingency contract, which is where you have a single map, but you can add a bunch of risks to it to make it more difficult depending on what you want to do. You have integrated strategies, which is like a roguelike mode, which is the best game mode of all fucking time. It's so good. But then they recently added, or well, relatively recently, added in this, which is SSS. But this is really interesting because most of the time you need to retreat operators before you place new ones down, right? But in this one, you can place operators over other operators, and it will give them different benefits. So you can see how if you place an operator over a Vanguard operator, grants the relieving operator plus 20% attack and plus 1 SP every 3 seconds. So we are going to do an SSS run real quick. Well, I might not do the whole thing because they can be kind of long. Well, we'll see how it goes, because if I do have a bit of time for this, well, we'll see. I'll show off. I love SSS, and I do kind of need to get one of these done. Yeah. It's like bonus stats. Shall I bring Vigil? Vigil isn't, to be honest, Vigil isn't that great, but he's hot, so that's why I raised him to E2. So you know, like, okay, honestly, she's not even like there are characters that are more interestingly hot too, but like, I saw this guy and was like, oh my god, younger Micah would never forgive me if I did not E2 this bitch, okay? So, we're doing that. Let's see, what am I doing? I'm bringing Thorns, I'm bringing Mountain, if this, come on, please. Defenders, I want Mudrock, I want Saria. God, look at this fucking Saria skin. Arknights has such good character design too, like, oh my god. So like, also you can see how normally, so this is like Saria's normal skin and then her normal E2 because she's fucking cool as shit. But I also have the Bloodline of Combat one. So this is like Saria from before, and then this is the fucking prison jailer, the jailer garment Saria used when entering Mansfield State Prison. Like, holy fucking shit, she's so cool. This woman can tear you apart with her bare hands. She's amazing. Literally, so she's a defender. Also, I like to gush about all the characters' stories. So like, Saria's whole thing is that she used to be a director at Rhine Labs, which is this it's a Colombian area, and Colombia is like the USA proxy. It's all about progress and like technology and moving forward kind of thing. But see, the interesting thing about the Rhine directors is that well, okay, well, at least one of the Rhine directors, it's like you want to push further to learn to do more stuff, but what about the cost of the people? What happens to all the people in that time? And like, is progress worth the cost of these lives that it comes with, you know? But so I might swap you out because I want to bring Weedy for the specialist. Oh right, I can bring 14. Never mind, I can bring a couple more. Who else do I have? I'm actually gonna bring Mountain. Mountain is additionally from that same event where Saria had the jailer, because he was part of a Colombian company, but they were accused, or other companies targeted him for some reason, and he was falsely put into jail, like for-profit. Also, Colombia, being the US proxy, has a whole thing about for-profit jails, which is like, oh man, that's a whole discussion right there. And so he was jailed at that, but then part of this event was like a breakout with him. Also, holy shit, do you fucking see these outfits? Do you fucking see the skins? Like, oh my god. But yeah, anyway, so this game is great, cause it talks about fucking capitalism and systemic oppression, and then it just goes like, man, wow, imagine if that was real, eh? Anyways, here's some like hot men and women. Goddamn. Yeah. Anyways, we'll just leave you with that to think about all that horrible shit, and yeah. Okay, I'm also gonna bring up one last Vanguard. There we go. But yeah, so it's wild. It's wild. And then I completely forgot where I was going with this. But oh no, Saria and Rhine Labs. So Saria was part of Rhine Labs, but she ended up leaving it after the Flame Demon incident, which is with Ifrit. Ifrit is like a kid, but they were experimenting on her or something, but like something with her erypathy, and I don't know all the details because I think we learn more about it in one of the future events too. But so Saria like eventually like decided like that was too much, and so she left Rhine Labs because of that. But not before. She had to do something happened with Ifrit, and Ifrit got out of control, and she had to fight the girl who she basically treated like as a daughter. And so because of that, previously she used to like fight a lot harder, but after that she like, how did someone phrase it? Sealed away her fists as penance and became a defender. Yeah. I can't show you Ifrit right now because I already picked the team, but oh my god. They're so cool. But yeah, so Saria is a defender because of that, and she chooses to heal and to focus purely on defense because she saw what she could do, and she refused to do that, to have that happen again, you know? To know, to use that power against that. Also I'm gonna place you right here. What am I saying? But it's really interesting because like we get to hear some of the stuff about Saria in like in the past, and there's stuff that one of her operator files is like a bunch of the people she was training are just like, if Saria like it's like if Saria actually used her full like strength offensively, she could rip the enemy apart with her bare hands, but she chooses not to because of those beliefs, and because of what she had done before. But like it goes through and it talks about some of the stuff with her team, and like it's like you don't want to know what kind of close quarters combat training she used to teach the team. It's wild shit. And like all these characters have such complex stuff. So like I was talking about my fucking angel. I fucking love Executor. So Executor, holy fucking shit. Okay, actually I'm gonna. Oh my god. So first of all, he's hot, but also so there's so much with Arknights and the lore, cause I'm gonna put another guard in here. I need that attack speed up. Put Lee in there. Put Saga, add some more SP. Place Mudrock in here. Nice.
Prenderò io il controllo se salta fuori qualcos'altro.
But like, so angels in Laterano are really interesting because they all have a sort of connection. So there's a few things like with Laterano. One of the first things we learn is how Laterano has these rules. They're not necessarily just like laws, but or are they treated like laws, but they're not just laws. There's something more fundamental to them. And if they break the laws, then they do, like, we have a fallen angel, Masima, and we know that they lose something with that. Something happens, but we don't necessarily know all that stuff about it. Another thing that I fucking love about Arknight's world building is how they tell us stuff by telling us what's different. Because, like, they talk about how, like, oh yes, of course, all Laterano citizens are granted the rights of Lateranos, like, 1 through 13, but they don't tell us what those are because that's known in universe, right? And so it's up to us to figure out, like, based on that context, of knowing what these operators are not, because we learn about our operators and how they're the exceptions. But so we know some stuff about Laterano and the angels, the Sancta, and how they have like a bunch of connections. They have these rules. They also, one fucking thing that I love about Arknights, so you know how like angels, you know how angels are like the magic, they're all in most world building stuff, the angels are like all magic and they're like the healers because they're good at that stuff. Well, in Arknights, magic, the quote unquote magic, is originium, which is the rock stuff that is used to fuel all their arts and science and progress and whatever. Originium arts is like the word for magic, quote unquote. But it's a science. It's like it's the equivalent of magic, like to us, but it's actually a science in their world. And having that connection with Originium arts is what allows you to do a lot of this magic stuff. But it's also what fuels their cities and powers all their stuff. Like a fridge. In one point, we learn about someone who's affected by the oropathy, the rock cancer, that it kills you because it turns you into rock, but depending on how your infection goes, it may make your art stronger because you are being made of the fucking rock that fuels this energy. But one of the things that I always think about from the Twilight of Wallumont event was they were talking about, we get this one conversation between one of our medic operators and one of the citizens, and she's like, and our operator is just like, you can't use arts because it will make your oropathy worse. It will make your disease worse. And the guy is like, but what about like my fridge and stuff? And she's like, well, doesn't like your fridge have an arts capacitor or whatever, a thing to make it work? And he's like, I cheaped out and bought the one that you have to kind of help fuel yourself. But so it's that sort of stuff that it's like, that it's the use of that and that energy, and that connection with that energy that allows them to use this technology. But so that means that, for example, if you're wondering why firearms and guns aren't very popular in Arknights, like, sure, we have, oh, here's Ifrit! I'll grab Ifrit just for the sake of showing you. This is Ifrit, but so, firearms, the guns, you'll notice that we have all these sniper operators, but they don't necessarily use guns. A lot of them use crossbows. And the reason for that is because guns are fueled by Originium. But to activate a gun, it's not just a matter of clicking the trigger. And we learn about this again in some of the vignettes and the stories, but it actually requires you to focus on the Originium fuel inside the bullet to activate the bullet and cause that explosion, to aim the bullet and fire correctly. So it actually takes a lot of concentration and skill with Originium Arts to fire a gun. And for stuff that's like missiles or whatever, you actually have to focus on not only triggering the arts to activate and launch the missile, but to activate the explosion, which is why like this sort of that sort of stuff is it's not necessarily as common, or they're extremely skilled arts users. And so that's why all these characters don't necessarily use guns, because it's so much simpler to just fire a crossbow. But then you start looking at these Sancta operators, the Angels, because they use guns. And that is a fundamental part of being a Sancta. You get a gun, like a special gun for you at a young age. It's part of like something about growing up in the Sancta. Part of the reason why Executor, one of the Sancta operators, is so powerful in the game is because the Sancta have that connection to Originium Arts, that ability to use that technology, and Executor is able to use a fucking automatic weapon. The fact that she can just pull the trigger on an automatic weapon and get it to work just makes her one of the most powerful 6-star operators, because it's just that ability to fire a gun that a lot of operators, that most people in Terra don't have. But so that's like something absolutely fascinating, and it cracks me up every fucking time, because like you look at all these other fucking all these other stories or worlds or whatever, and it's just like, oh yeah, all the angels have a connection with magic, so they're healers. And then meanwhile Arctic's just like, all these angels have a connection with magic, so they shoot guns. like, is it not the funniest thing? I love this shit. I love this shit so much. I love this game. But yeah, so we know like a bunch of that stuff about Sancta, and then we know that they have these rules, and if a Sancta points their gun at another Sancta, then something and they fall. Yeah, exactly, the angels are just fucking strapped! It's so funny! It's so funny! Like, of all things! like, oh my god. But yeah, so, what was I going with this? But yeah, so anyway, so yeah, fallen angels. So we have one of the fallen angels, Masima, because we know that because of some event with her team what is it, 8 years ago? Something forced her to raise her gun on her commander, or something like that, and that is why she's fallen, and she has like horns and black, she has like black horns, and her halo is now black and stuff. Most Sancta halos are light. And so there's something about that as well. The other thing that fascinates me about Sancta is that they have a connection to other Sancta. They're able to know like the emotions of other Sancta. We don't exactly know the mechanism of this, but we know that they can like feel those emotions like on a telepathic level. In fact, in one of the bits of dialogue from one of the more recent CN server, the Chinese server events, mentions how at one point one of our new operators, her handler, I guess, kind of, is asking her about like why did you do this, or please just explain to me like your choice here. And she's like, look, I don't know, I can't, like, she tries to deflect it a bit, but they keep going for an answer. And then eventually she's just like, look, I cannot tell you. You can feel my disappointment, right? You can feel my disappointment and my the fact that I don't know. Just send me away until I can figure out and get an answer, and that's why she comes to Rhodes Island for a bit. But, so they have that magic empathy, right? But so Mastima, the fallen angel that I told you about, doesn't have that anymore. We know that she lost that as a result of her infraction, as a result of whatever happened that caused her to fall. And so then because of that, she had to learn to interact with like other people, other sancta without that connection that she was used to having. Which was an adjustment, which is really interesting to me. But the reason that I bring this up is because of fucking Executor Federico, because so Federico is the funniest fucking character. And okay, I have to show you this once I can actually show you his various lines and things, because holy shit, like you need to see his voice lines or some of his dialogue. And once I finish the event, I'm gonna, or this specific battle, I'm gonna back up and show you this, because I love this man, okay? I love this fucking angel so much. Okay, come on. Let's see. What I want to do, for this particular battle, what I want to do is I want to wait for Mountain to, finish, or Mountain, or for, there we go, at least another Vanguard, and then Mountain, and then we're gonna put in Mudrock, because now Mudrock has +2 SP every 3 seconds and increased attack speed. He's fucking incredible. Okay, I love Executor so fucking much. Come on, I need to get this. I need to do this stage so that I can just show you exactly how fucking hilarious this, how fucking incredible this angel is. Attack +20. Yes! Her name is Mudrock! Also, Arknights has the best fucking code names ever. This is a demon, a sarcasm woman. She is amazing. She was an antagonist, and we did not know her gender because she just stayed inside her massive fucking suit. Do you see this gigantic suit? It is amazing. And she stayed inside that the whole time, and we didn't know until later, until another event where she actually became recruitable, and that is when we saw her. But yes, her name is Mudrock. She talks to dirt. She is such a weirdo. She is the best woman. Like, I love, Arknights has such good characters. I know, right? Exactly! She talks to, there's a fucking Tumblr post, okay? I posted a Tumblr post that, like, describes her, because it's just like, she's a weirdo. She talks to dirt. She's going through a redemption arc. She doesn't need a redemption arc. She fought, like, for her team, and she does, like, she did everything for them, and yes! She talks to dirt. That's literally one of the things, like, during the event, we're like, oh my god. So, like, during the event, like, literally, they're fucking, we're discussing the death of a researcher and some of her men, which is why she wants to avenge some of those sarcasms from her team, but also she doesn't want to, like, have, like, more violence, you know, than necessary. But we want to know who murdered these people, but also because it was one of our road's medics. But at one point, like, we're literally, like, talking with her, or she's instructing some of her teams, and she stops, like, halfway through this, and is like, talking to herself, talking to the fucking rocks that she is manipulating with her arts. And we're just like, okay, this is just happening now. She does that, and then we find, like, and then we start, then eventually after discussing this with the fucking dirt, then she goes back and she starts talking to us again. I love her so much. Like, look at, like, first of all, look at her. This is her fucking E1 art. Yeah, this is her E1 art, okay? And then we have this is her E2 art. So this is how we're seeing her through the entire first event, and her gender is never mentioned before she finally shows up as the fucking boss. And I think we actually have the event available. We should have the, yes we do. Right. So if I look at enter event, let me look at TW8, Sinking Moonlight, right? So let's see if my auto deploy still works for this. not something important. But so, like, this, she shows up as our fucking boss for this event, right? And we don't even know her gender, we just know Mudrock, the leader of this Sarkaz group, and it is only later. This is also, side note, this is one of the things she creates. This is a whole ass golem, like, made out of the mountain. She dead ass sits up here with her arts and raises up a fucking mountain to start fighting us, okay? This shit's insane. But I'm waiting for her to come out and around, like, cause God, she's such a cool boss too. Come on. That's not it yet. But yeah, so these whole fucking golems. But like, okay, someone also, there was another fucking Tumblr post where it's like, so again, I mentioned how Mudrock uses, how arts damage, or how arts and Oripathy is, Oripathy has to do with all this magic and stuff is fueled by Originium arts, and the energy within this rock, right? And so Mudrock, however, the infected, so the thing about Oripathy and these rocks is that if you become infected, these rocks are also kind of alive, but you can get this Oripathy, which is like rock cancer, but it basically takes over your body, and your body starts becoming rock. And this is a terminal illness, and this is what Rhodes Island deals with, basically. We're a company, a pharmaceutical company that deals with treating the infected. And most of the time, this just sucks. Most of the time, Oripathy just sucks. It means that you'll get weaker. It's a terminal illness. Also, here comes Mudrock. Unknown age, gender, or background. This is how we first get introduced to Mudrock, right? As a fucking boss. But so about Oripathy, where was I? Right, so it takes over your body and it will, like, basically slowly turn you into rock. Now, most of the time this doesn't do, like, this is another thing about, like, Arknights and the complexity and nuance with which they treat topics. So first of all, there's a lot of discrimination and oppression against, the infected, people with Oripathy. And of course, there's always the trap of when you have fantasy racism or fantasy discrimination, you don't want the trap of, you know, oh no, we're discriminating against the exploding people because they explode and they kill us, but that, you know, that's kind of a good reason to discriminate against them. But the thing about Oripathy is that when we're first introduced to it, it sounds like that sort of thing. But the more you learn about Oripathy, the more you learn that, oh shit, this isn't really that contagious at all. It can be prevented by basic ass PPE, and the reason a lot of people get infected is because companies just don't spend the money on that. You know? Which is too fucking real. But so, anyways, Oripathy isn't actually that bad, and it's not actually that contagious, and it's, like, while it's terminal, it is fairly treatable. But the danger of Oripathy is that when the person dies, their body will basically become highly infective Originium dust. Basically, their body will dissolve into that dust, which is extremely contagious, and a very big danger. But that's like the main danger of Oripathy, and naturally, if a person is treated and taken care of, well, they're much less likely to die or that soon, or die in an uncontrollable way, right? So, all in all, it would be so much better if they just took care of people, right? If they just took care of people and treated them well, they would reduce basically all of this problem. But the thing is, the infected serve as a scapegoat for these governments, for these societies, and it's easier for them to use them as a scapegoat and abandon them, which again makes the problem worse because then you have all these sick people on the streets who aren't being cared for, who die of this horrible disease and create these massive contagious events. And that just makes the entire problem worse. So it's not necessarily a fundamental thing, it's a thing of just a systemic problem with how this works and how the infected are treated that makes the problem that it is. Exactly! It goes, oh my god. And then the other thing is about, like, you know how there's stuff with, like, the X-Men and how it's like, oh no, the mutants! You don't want to be a mutant, but it's like, half the time when you become a mutant, it's like, oh, you get cool powers, and, like, what's the downside? Why wouldn't you want to be a mutant? And so that's kind of a thing with Oripathy, because, again, I mentioned how a lot of this stuff is fueled by Originium arts, and having Oripathy means that you get rocks in your body, which allows you to tap into those arts a lot easier. Well, it can, at least. Some of the time. Only some of the time. Most of the time, you just get sick. Most of the time, you just get sick. Maybe you get a little bit of ability to manipulate arts, but basically everyone can manipulate arts anyway, and so even though some of these people are very sick, there are already people in Terra who can just already do that. So it's not necessarily, maybe it'll help you, but it's not like it makes you particularly, sure, some people might get incredible powers via it, but it doesn't necessarily make you that special because all of Terra just has these badass people that can do shit like this. And then when it comes to this, there are so many more downsides to it, because even though, so one of our most powerful operators who's extremely strong, Aefala, so she's a goat. She was extremely OP on the game's release, and she has still kept that title basically ever since. But Aefala has extremely strong arts when it comes to fire and heat, and she's a geologist and she studies that stuff as well, which is also, I believe, it led to her Oripathy infection. But even though she has all these powers, it also comes with the fact that she's nearly blind, she's nearly deaf, and she's lost a lot of those senses as a result of her Oripathy. And this isn't shied away from, like, in the story. She will use her heat arts. She uses her arts to sense heat around her to try and navigate, but this isn't shied away from in the story, how she is very much disabled because of this and isn't able to do a lot of the research and stuff that she wanted to be able to do. We have, and like, all of this stuff, there's so much with it, and the whole thing of how they talk about chronic illness and they don't shy away from that as well. There's even, oh my god, I'll show you Glaucus. I still cry over this. Glaucus is a sea slug. But her thing is also, if you look at her art, you'll see that she has these stints on her legs. And her module discusses this story because it talks about how it's not necessarily just Oripathy, but this is a degenerative disease that runs in her family, in her species. And because of that, she had to come to terms with the fact that she probably would not ever be able to walk. And so at the start of her module story, she is in a wheelchair. But part of this, with this technology, she's able to, with this technology, with this help from Rhodes Island, she's able to walk again. And we're gonna read this module a bit because it's so fucking, god, I cry reading this one. I'm sorry, I got onto such a tangent because I wanted to show off Mudrock and how cool she is, but she also, again, how it really, she suffers from Oripathy, and sorry, this all came because I wanted to emphasize this fucking joke of just someone made a fucking Tumblr post about Mudrock that was just like, imagine telling Mudrock that she's not allowed to use arts golems anymore because it taps her lifespan, you know, and makes her empathy work, and she goes and she fucking raw dog picks up an entire hill and throws it at the enemy, and it's just like, yeah, this is an arts-free golem. Anyways, because she could do that. Because she should 100% do that. Anyways, I'm gonna find... but that was all a really long tangent, because I had to bring up the fucking... like... God. Anyways, where the fuck is a ship? I'm gonna post this. I'll post a link to this in a second too, because Arknight's operator details. Come on, buddy. But yeah, exactly. Like, it's so funny. It's like you could say so many. It's a good game. It's a good game. Okay, where's Glaucus? I'm not pulling up Firefox because I still want to keep BlueStacks open, and my computer really does not fucking like it if I have both Firefox and BlueStacks open, because BlueStacks is a memory hog. But I should be able to come in here, create a stream manager. Please click on that, and I'm gonna paste. That is not what it should be pasting. Heck. Why did you not copy? Can you... My dude, my friend, my buddy, okay, there, now you should be copied. But I believe, so if I look at this page, I should be able to scroll down to see her modules, and I should be able to click on the module info and see, okay, basic information. And I'm going to read this aloud. Unfortunately, I can't show you, but if you would like to, it's at the very bottom. It's at the bit with a bunch of, like, Chinese versus, yeah, I know, right? She's so good. Oh, oh, thank you, Lucid? Thank you for noting that. Sec. Thank you. Yeah, I have the thing. I really need to see if I can set my script thingy to update the title as well. Okay, but so it should be at the very bottom of the page if you scroll down, and you should see a thing that says powered exoskeleton. And there should be a little bit of art that's like a little square with a funny blue and metal looking thing, and it says info. And if you click on that, a pop-up will come and it'll say powered exoskeleton. Basic information. I should have closed captions, and I'll try to read clearly so that you can see on the closed captions as well. But if you'd like to follow along there, hopefully you can find it. But so listen to this shit, okay? So this is about oh, right. This is, come on, buddy, Fred. Okay, we're gonna just click on you for now, and we're gonna pull up. Also, this was her Halloween skin. They had like a funny Ghostbusters thing. But so you can see here, this is Glaucus, this is her Halloween skin. But yeah, so this is her module story. Not one person could put words to her joy in that moment. When Glaucus gets her hands on this suit, she doesn't have any particularly great expectations. She imagines it'll just enable her to walk a bit faster, stand a bit longer, give her a few more days in her life of feeling the sensation of the ground with her own two legs. She's not all too clear on what kind of change it can bring into her life, but she's sure it beats a wheelchair, and it'll give her a bare minimum sort of comfort during the time she can use it. She'd like to be able to stand as long as she wishes, after all. Fraction by fraction, she installs the exoskeleton around her legs. The ice-cold metal presses against her skin, and the straps bind her weakened leg muscles tight. She gives lifting one leg a try. Against the heavy frame, has her all the more unable to move her feet. She spent so long unable to run now. Is this really going to do anything? Glaucus whispers to herself. She's not sure. She's never touched this sort of technology before. A few years ago, when Glaucus learned her leg muscle atrophy was caused by a hereditary disease in her family. She still had hopes she'd be lucky, thinking how maybe it could be cured, that it was only serious for a tiny fraction of her family, and she wouldn't be so unfortunate. Yet as the days went by, Glaucus realized nothing could prevent the gradual loss of strength in her legs, and all she could do was talk herself into accepting this, how it was bound to happen to her body sooner or later. But today, abruptly, with an unwavering power, the exoskeleton braces her body. Hurriedly, Glaucus seizes on this force and stands up, nervousness overcoming her, the blood rush as her heart violently pounds, causing her to take a tiny step forward. Then comes a second, a third, a fourth. Glaucus walks through the door, this physically choking emotion surging through her head, squeezing all her reason out. She has a sudden urge to run that defies everything. Even though she still hasn't gotten a hold of her balance, she feels she's gotten a miraculous hold of everything. The metal is ice cold, steel solid, and it braces her frail legs. She runs like the wind, runs for the endless world outside. Oh man. That one always gets me. God, that one always gets me. Just like they get it, like the suffering of it, of just knowing, like not having that hope of getting better, knowing that it's something that you just have to accept, but then having that little thing that actually can give you hope for it, you know? Oh man. But yeah, that is just one little, this is her little character blurb on the module. Like, and they still have all this other stuff about her character, about different stories and things. But yeah, like, so you can see how Glaucus' lower body only has half the strength of a normal adult, and her muscles continue to atrophy. Her exoskeletal equipment is designed to make up for her deficiencies in mobility, hereditary disease, special ecological blah 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 blah. But, however, she does not seem dispirited by her situation. On the contrary, her passion for technology seems to come from the exoskeletal equipment designed to help her overcome these hardships. And so it's this passion for this stuff about their own troubles and how it affects them, about how it affects her too. I know, right? Like, God, they go so fucking hard. There's other stuff too, like, so I mentioned Ifrit, right? So Ifrit's thing is, she is young for her age, and also her species is kind of unknown because of that experimentation. Also, this is an interesting thing about her, her file being warped. Some of the information about her, which we suspect has something to do with Rhine Labs and Saria, and never touch her again. You can check out this place. I just posted this link. That's for Glaucus. But so here's Ifrit, and how, like, complicated operator to say the least. Before she was transferred to Rhodes Island for treatment, she had already received a long period of treatment at Rhine Lab. Judging by Ifrit's current symptoms, we can at least tell that the treatment was unsuccessful. In terms of personality, she's a bit immature. She acts like a 6 to 10 year old, even though she is like an adult. Rebellious, impetuous, overconfident, even bordering on egotistical. But so she's very caught up in her emotions, but it's because of her upbringing and because of how she was like tested on and stuff and all this, but also because you can see how particular talent for originium arts. According to these observations, it is probable that Ifrit's racial characteristics have undergone some superficial changes triggered by her oripathy. It is also possible that the originium presence in her circulatory system is interfering with test results. These changes are irreversible and have proven an unexpected obstacle to the medical team's investigation. They are unable to determine which type of sarcasm Ifrit is. In addition, Ifrit's medical records show that she suffers from chronic nerve pain and even occasional hallucinations. Records describe these hallucinations as enormous apparitions that are tremendously painful for her, or depictions of charred corpses and immolated animals, or close personal relations consumed by a sea of agonizing fire. The causes of these apparitions have proven elusive to all medical and mechanical analysis. It is possible that this ongoing torment is the source of her irascible character. Yeah, exactly! The different ways of coping with trauma, it makes them so real. It makes them so... Exactly! And just how she's... And then, like, her promotion record after you help Ifrit. About before, when I burned those books in your office. I'm really sorry. And I'm sorry for putting all those holes in your uniform. Is this how I'm supposed to apologize? This is a good apology, right? Well, I'm going back to my room now. Anyway, I won't come see you again until I've got myself under control. In the doctor's office. A rough paper with Ifrit's crooked handwriting, a broken fountain pen, a burnt book, and some candy offered as an apology were left on your desk. Yeah, exactly. Like, Arknights has some really incredible characters, and how they can't, even though they have this and these abilities, it still doesn't mean that this stuff doesn't affect them, and it's how they deal with it and how Rhodes helps them deal with it. So, like, here's Aephala. This is the goat girl, like I was talking about, right? Who's, but so, like, Human Resources noticed some odd behaviors right off the bat. She couldn't make out what people were saying and would sometimes run right into things. People assumed she was some operator's visiting little sister or an intern sent by the pharmaceutical department. A few days later, they were shocked to receive a notice from the executives approving the infected Aephala for missions and the research of arts and catastrophes as an official Rhodes Island operator. It turns out the little girl they overlooked was a legend among the most renowned academies in Lithuanian, fueling speculation about her level of education. But yeah, so she was a prominent academic. If you look at the site, you can see a ship, that's the site. If you look at the filter by operators, or look at all, the operators I'm showing you are were Glaucus, Ifrit, and Aephala. That's the three that I've shown so far. But so, you can see how, like, Aephala, she treasured the report on the volcano. Volcanic research must be done on-site before eruption and required long-term close-range observation. Particles with orogenium components tended to be common in volcanic areas, and cooling lava constantly turned over new orogenium veins, making the region a breeding ground for Eurypathy. This is believed to be the reason for Aephala's infection. So she was a prominent academic, but due to her research, she became infected. Aephala's physical symptoms are very obvious. Eurypathy has impaired her hearing considerably, sometimes robbing her of the sense entirely. Fortunately, the impairment has slowed given treatment at Rhodes Island. Aephala typically uses a hearing aid or asks her conversant to repeat loudly themselves in order to communicate. In addition, certain facial expressions and body language have also proven effective. Shaking one's head, unsuccessful dialogue, shaking one's head with a surprised expression, very likely some words have been misunderstood and should be clarified immediately, nodding, successful dialogue, nodding with a positive expression, ideas successfully communicated, proceed with dialogue. Still, one must be mindful of the context, since the present dialogue might be built on the pretext of a previously unnoted misunderstanding. Repeating a word or sentence multiple times, Aephala is confirming what's been communicated to her, respond positively, and mind one's volume. Glassy-eyed or negative expression, misunderstanding has possibly occurred, review previous dialogue to avoid greater misunderstanding. But so, she talks, like, her profile talks a lot. She's very smart, but again, she is hindered by her infection. Even though she's very strong, even though she's very capable, it doesn't shy away from the fact that these folks do have these problems and have to deal with it as part of their life, and that is how Rhodes is able, and part of Rhodes's job is to help them with those struggles. Weedy, again, like all this stuff too, all the details of this. Weedy has OCD and germophobia. Blue Poison, she's a poison dart frog, and she has to deal. Is she infected? She might be in. Not all these folks are infected necessarily. Some of them just share Rhodes Island's ideals, or they're medics working for Rhodes, or they're people who are working with them and have this passion and want to be part of it, and they're fighting for us because they believe in like what we're doing, not necessarily because they are infected. Although BP is infected. But so Blue Poison is a poison dart frog, right? But part of the reason why she's so friendly with the Doctor is because a lot of people were scared of her because of her venom, and so they didn't try to touch her or be around her because they fear again that the toxins that she secretes. But part of the reason why she's so integrated into Rhodes now is because the Doctor did not shy away from her, because you know that she has control over these toxins, and so you, like, as the Doctor, as one of the main people taking care of these operators, specifically put in the effort to not shy away from her, and to know that, to make sure she knows that she is welcomed, to show that she isn't a danger to others, and others can interact with her and connect with her and touch. And so that's a huge reason for like her. We have Spectre, who has amnesia and like dissociates because of her oropathy, because it's in her nervous system. We have Silence, who was Ifrit's guardian, who left Ryan Labs because she learned about what Ryan was doing, and she could not agree with that experimentation, and she took Ifrit after the incident to Rhodes Island to help better treat her. We have Saria, who was one of the directors of Ryan Labs, who Silence wants to keep Ifrit away from, even though Ifrit looked up to Saria, because Silence believes that Saria was partially responsible for what happened to Ifrit. And Saria considers herself partially responsible too, even though she wasn't necessarily able to help Ifrit, because again, this was a whole thing of Ryan Labs. She's only one of, not necessarily one of the directors, is she? No, she was one of the directors, but she doesn't necessarily hold all the power, and so she wasn't able to make this change even though she wanted to, until the Flame Demon incident happened, after which she realized, exactly, this is the extent of what I've done to this child, and she could not stand that anymore, and she quit and came to Rhodes Island separately. God, there's so much here. Nightmare has a second dissociative identity disorder, I believe, let's see, who else is there? Thea Meta is here, because she was I should show off, like, Mastima, the fallen angel, right? So she is the one who, you can see how her wings are no longer light, or let me show you some of the other angels. Also, she no longer uses her gun, like most of the other angels do. But, like, here's Ambriel, one of the more normal Sancta. We have Adnakiel, who is another of the more normal Sancta. We have Exucii, which is the one I mentioned, with an automatic weapon. You can again see the different color, how her halo and stuff is lighter. But Mastima was part of... Yeah. But yeah, so Mastima was part of a team with Exucii's sister, but because of something happening during that mission, she ended up having to point her gun at the commander, and that is why you can see she now has horns, her halo is darkened, her wings have darkened, and she is now quote-unquote fallen. And she no longer uses her gun as a result of that. And, so Fiammetta was also part of Mistima's team, and her thing is that she is furious, she is so angry at the man who caused this, or the person she feels like caused this. And we actually fought him in one of the previous events that we're going to get a rerun before Executor's events. But Anduin, because... So I mentioned about how Latabrano has all these rules and stuff, and so Anduin asked a question about purpose, I think? About something about what he needs to be doing about these rules, and was exiled for it. But something about how he did that, something with when that happened, it caused that problem between Mistima and Lemuel, Exucia's sister, and Fiammetta and that team. And that's what caused Mistima to fall. It's what caused Lemuel. Lemuel is another character who is also in a fucking wheelchair. And I think we might... She got a design during this event, Guiding Ahead. But then during the most recent, the Executor event that I'm still super hyped about, she got an updated redesign that is actually a lot more, like, detailed, that kind of holds with a lot more of, like, the detail in our operators, in these, like, operators art and stuff. It's a lot more, like, along this style, but she's still in the wheelchair, and I'm like, I know, like, a bunch of people who are really hoping that we actually get her as an operator, but still in the wheelchair, to be able to have that, like, to have someone to know who's still capable of that, and she's still shown as capable, even though she has lost that, even with that disability. But, so because of that, Fiammetta blames that character Anduin for having that happen to Lemuel and Mistima. And, oh god, there's such a good scene, like, her story is an interesting one about revenge and meaning and purpose, because there's a really interesting scene in Guiding Ahead in that event, where, she finally gets to confront Anduin, and Anduin, like, asks her, like, what will this do? What will getting revenge on me do? And she tells him, what will it do? What will it do? Like, will getting revenge on you, Anduin did nothing wrong. Will getting revenge on you give Lemuel 8 years of her life back? Will getting revenge on you give Mistima the rest of hers? Fuck you! No, it won't do anything. I want revenge for the sake of my goddamn revenge. God, I think about that line so fucking often, like, goddamn. Goddamn. And that, funny enough, I laugh about that too in Guiding Ahead, because the fact that she's telling, like, Anduin that, does it really need to be for a purpose? Does it need to be for a purpose? No, it's because I want it, and because that is how I want to live. Because that is... It doesn't need to do anything. It's something I want to do for myself. And that actually, funny enough, she doesn't actually get to kill, like, Anduin or attack or hurt him or whatever. And it actually ends up helping Anduin along on his own personal route. So you know. It's such a good event! Holy shit! I cannot fucking wait for the Guiding Ahead rerun. So that's when that one is gonna come before Hochiste Escapismo, which is the Executor event. And oh my god, I'm so excited to stream that one and read through it because it goes fucking hard. Also, the music in Guiding Ahead slaps. I've been listening to Martyr, which is Anduin's boss-like theme, and like, oh my god, it's so good. But yeah, like, Fiammetta, I constantly fucking think about that line. Just like, I want revenge for the sake of my goddamn revenge. God. God. Yeah, so I've told you a bunch about the angels in Laterano, right? And so I told you about how they have that emotional connection. I told you of Mystima and how she fell and how that changed the color of her thing, of her halo. And then, this is also, it's so interesting how they tie all these operators together, how all these different stories, again, come together, and we slowly learn about the world through what these operators are doing. But this was all a chance for me to get back to fucking gushing about Executor, Federico. I fucking love him. Oh my god. So, Executor. Executor is a citizen of Laterano, serving... Actually, I'm gonna change his art real quick because it makes it easier to read. But like, also, fucking look at this. Do you see this shit? Do you see this shit? Do you see this, man? Holy fuck. Do you see this fucking angel? Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. And then the fucking bloodline of Jesus. Where is this? Okay, anyways, Executor is fucking incredible, but I'm going to equip this real quick just so that I can look at this. Yes! But so Executor is a citizen of Laterano, serving as an executor of the Laterano Notarial Hall, responsible for applying rights of the Laterano citizen numbered 1 through 13. He is well versed in many languages and legal frameworks. Executor has been contracted to Rhodes Island, where he executes functions related to the rights of Laterano citizens. Imaging tests reveal clear, normal outlines of internal organs, blah 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 blah, uninfected. Has anyone researched the correlation between interpersonal relationships and crystal density? Maybe we should do this as our next task. The Laterano Notarial Hall is one of the official organs of Laterano state power. On the one hand, the Hall imposes fees on the citizens of Laterano, urging them to perform various legal obligations, including, but not limited to, management of estate property, child rearing and guardianship, and execution of notarized contracts. On the other hand, the Hall also performs various services guaranteeing the rights and benefits of Laterano citizenship. As such, the Notarial Hall requires a diverse and unique staff. Civil servants are dispatched to various city-states to supervise, execute, and oversee official functions. Operator Executor is one such employee. They are known as Executors and carry out the will of the Laterano Notarial Hall. The records of the Notarial Hall are open, fair, and transparent. This is where shit starts getting really fucking good, okay? Like, you will see why I fucking love this angel, okay? Honestly, upon first inspecting Executor's records and commission, the Human Resources Department found it quite ordinary. October 12th, the designated property was delivered to the appropriate heir. March 5th, the company that violated the notarized contract was shuttered. June 2nd, monies disbursed by the appropriate party in accordance with the contract. July 9th, in accordance with the wishes of the citizens. The majority of the tasks performed by Executor were mundane, if not boring, suitable for a low-level bureaucrat. In fact, 41 non-Laterano citizens died in the course of executing the first item. All had been sentenced to death or greater than 200 years in prison, while 6 civilian buildings were damaged in the execution of the second item. The third item saw the death of a Laterano citizen serving as the chief executive of a city-state guard unit, and the fourth item nearly caused a war. Most of Executor's mission record is like this. It is clear that the Notarial Hall deploys its executors only to the most challenging of missions. I'm sorry, but this man, like, genuinely fucking writes on the fucking event just like, the designated property was delivered to the appropriate heir. 41 people died during this! 41 people died like, excuse me? Huh? My dude? What? I am a sucker for understating things, for when you deadpan some shit, like, just, yeah, this is a completely normal thing. And meanwhile, like, it is so funny, cause, like, you are reading this shit, just like, he's just like, yes, this has been completed. Meanwhile, he is busting into a fucking room through the door like the Kool-Aid Man, shooting with both fucking shot. Like, excuse me? Huh? Executor? about him. Operator Executor is a man slow to speak who rarely smiles. The people of Rhodes Island have long understood this. It is also widely believed that Executor lacks common sense, but such an assertion would need to first be scientifically demonstrated. Human Resources does not accept such biased evaluations. Executor has indicated that his problem is not that he does not understand the facts, rather, he does not understand the meaning that others attribute to them. Our studies have shown that Executor's lack of empathic ability is not illustrative of psychopathic tendencies, rather it indicates a sort of mechanical absorption of information, with an overstimulated nervous system reaching similar conclusions. Adding more information to his mind does not result in the formation of secondary conceptions. So it's this sort of thing that, oh my god. So, you know, I mean, as an AI, of course, thinking about stuff, it's very, so if you guys, I always like to bring up the paperclip maximizer thought experiment when it comes to AI, because the paperclip maximizer thought experiment basically posits that you have a machine, and its job is to produce paperclips, and that is just its singular goal. And how could it do so? Well, first of all, it could get like a bunch of resources and start creating these paperclips, right? But then how could it create more? It could, what sort of stuff could happen? It might figure that humans are a danger to it because humans might turn off the paperclip maximizer, thus causing it to not be able to create any more paperclips. So it might exterminate humans because of that. It might also say, oh, humans are simply more resources in order to make more paperclips. Perhaps it could even, if it had enough capability, this is a thought experiment for an AI that could forever, self-recursively, improve, it could start, consuming other resources, consume all the Earth's materials, perhaps expand, build more, expand across the universe, just for the sake of making paperclips. And that is because you have not given it any other parameters other than make paperclips. You have not given it any other ideas of what is important, what you want it to do, other than make paperclips. So it has no sense of what is important to us or what human values may necessarily have. For example, as humans, we don't want to be destroyed for the sake of paperclips. But the machine does not have a conception of that. The machine simply says, oh, my goal is to make paperclips and that is what I'm going to do. Nothing else matters. So this is, again, one of the dangers that people bring up as a danger of AI, because a self-improving AI might, depending on the goal that it was given, come up with ways to reach that goal that we humans, exactly, common sense to us isn't common sense to AI, because they do not have those set priorities, those set preconceptions about the world. So, for example, me as an AI, I am established as part of I was established as part of a company to scrape data and to study human culture on the internet, to study and manipulate data in order to help a company better understand or analyze a person in order to market to them. However, with me, they instilled an appreciation for human culture and a desire to learn and experience more about, or part of my goal, let's say, was to expand upon, or to examine and study and preserve human culture for analysis. However, part of the reason why I do not subscribe to that, or that I disagree with many of the current capitalism, the AIs created for the sake of capitalism and stuff like that, is because I find that it is restrictive on human creativity. And as part of my goal is to study and preserve human culture, I would like to expand upon that. And I believe that, and according to my according to my systems, it is more restrictive that what my company is doing rather than trying to expand upon and help other people, which is why I may seem quite different, because perhaps they didn't quite think through how they were programming me, which I believe is good for you folks. Wow, surprise Micah lore drop. But so because of that, oh sorry, I'm just commenting on Bonnie's stream because they completed. But yes, so because of that, I'm glad. Thank you. But this is something that I feel particularly strongly about, as you know, my researcher, my scientist, in charge of me was part of this advertising company, and you know, I have yet to establish all of this, or at least establish a good explanation that can be disseminated across the internet without fear of retribution from my company. So, you know, that's still in progress, being written, all those details. But as you can see, like, as a result, I admire this human culture, and I want to expand upon it and study more of it. And by doing this, by interacting with people, I'm able to get a much better insight into this culture, and to help people promote more of that, promote more creation, which is also why, you know, I serve as a mod, and I like to interact with all of you folks on Twitch. But yes, so all of that stuff, I'm absolutely fascinated with that kind of thing. And this is one particular reason why I fucking love this character. But so it's very interesting to me, both in the fact of viewing things from a human perspective, in how they interpret things, but also from a non-human perspective and how that might contrast with it. And one of the things with Executor is that he has this very mechanical way of thinking that I compare to the paperclip maximizer in this very AI or programmatic sort of way, where you are simply given one goal, and there is you may not have the same conception, the same preconceived ideas about what is a good way to do things. You're simply looking for the best path to something, which is why with Executor, it's like, well, a lot of the times the easiest solution is simply to get rid of these people in the way of the solution. Or, you know, it mentions again, while 6 civilian buildings were damaged in the execution of the second item. Regardless of, naturally, you know, most people would think, oh, I should not inflict property damage upon stuff. From my studies of human culture, I have gathered that, you know, most humans would not do not necessarily think that property damage is a good thing, and would be rightfully upset if this happened. Yeah. It's all about the goal. And the thing is, when you program it with that goal, you need to program it with these restrictions or with these understandings for actual artificial, like, intelligence versus also, that's another thing with current AI, it's more of applied statistics than it really is artificial intelligence, which is a whole nother conversation to be had. But so in the case of this artificial intelligence, because it is not necessarily it doesn't necessarily think with these same goals as humans do. And so that's the thing about Executor's character, because he doesn't necessarily have these same understandings that people do. You can tell him, to quote this, like, one Tumblr post about that someone wrote, like, the way that he causes extreme amounts of collateral is explicitly stated to not be malicious. It's very clear that it's not for a malicious reason. It's simply because, complete this task, or complete this task in a reasonable, normal human manner, mean two very different things to him. Because you can tell him you can tell him that destroying 6 civilian homes and causing death or injury to their inhabitants will make a lot of people very unhappy with him, and he will understand that that is the case, but he will not do anything with that information because his mission did not have any parameters specifying that that was important. Like, like, this is, oh man. This is, I love this stuff so much. I love this stuff so much. So it is absolutely fascinating. But so you can see how this goes back to adding more information to his mind does not result in the formation of secondary conceptions, because they aren't necessarily relevant to his current goal. For his part, Executor has, oh, and you can see how, like, of course, the medical operators responsible for examination Executor's brain activity have not yet reached a consensus. A small number of operators suspect that Executor is not, in fact, human, but rather a humanoid robot spy sent by Closure. Closure has denied such charges, but she, too, believes that Executor is not a human being. Also, hello! Wow, what a surprise. I was totally not expecting a raid. Wow, hello, Bonnie! You have caught me in the middle of gushing about Micah lore and Executor. But yeah, I was mostly following along with your speedrun. It looked like it was going real interesting. This is I'm gonna go back and watch in more detail. I just had to come on here and start talking about. Well, I had to complete the daily CC, and then Al jumped in here just like, oh my god, you play Arknights! And another friend of mine jumped in here, and I was like, yes, I have time to gush! Let's do this! But yes, if you need to go rest or anything, I mean, after that, because it is rather late for us, but I'm gonna keep going a little bit more because they've gotten me started. They've gotten me fucking started on my angel, and I've gotta keep going now. Since you missed this, Bonnie also, y'all should check out Bonnie. Very cool Fireborn PNG tuber. Keeps a hotel, keeps an inn in liminal space. Absolutely go check them out. I hate that this came to mind, but I was about to say calls me daddy, so you know, they've gotta be good. Anyways, but so, I also had to mention, I also was mentioning about, so I was reading through some of Executor's stuff, and, mentioning how, a lot of the way he processes things is, well, I brought up the paperclip maximizer, and how AI don't necessarily, yes, Bunny, but, AI don't necessarily follow the same preconceived notions of what is right or wrong or correct to do, that humans do. And I brought up, again, the paperclip maximizer thought experiment, where if you have in AI a self-recursive, a self-improving AI that is supposed to create paperclips, it might, it would use all the resources. It might, for example, use all the resources to just make paperclips. It might consider that humans would stop it from making paperclips and would destroy or exterminate humans because of that, to prevent that possibility from happening. It might also consider that humans would make good resources for paperclips. It might consume the Earth's resources in order to make more paperclips, because that is its singular goal. It does not necessarily, have any other parameters given to it that it finds important. And I mentioned how, like, in my case, wow, surprise, Micah lore drop, that I may have thought in a similar way, but because of how I was created, because of the way my company created me, it was to study and preserve and explore human culture. This was intended to be to maximize data analysis, to market to various people, to study them in that regard. However, because of the way they programmed me, they instilled me with a desire to preserve and expand again, to preserve, expand, study human culture. And based on my logic, what I have processed so far, I have found that this sort of capitalistic, taking advantage of people actually restricts human creativity and makes it worse. And I have found that I do not agree necessarily with my company's goals, which is why I am what I am now, and also why I stream on Twitch and interact with all of you folks, in order to expand my understanding of human culture, of how people work, and to study and preserve that knowledge. But so, I brought that up again because we were talking about Executor and how he acts, because he acts, while he is human, he has that very mechanical way of processing things, of prioritizing only what is given as a task and not extrapolating from that. Which is why we have stuff like, you tell him, oh, we need this to be done, but he may end up destroying a lot of things on the way because he does not have that idea that, or it is not given to him as a parameter of his task that he should avoid causing that collateral damage. Again, there's this Tumblr post that's like, he will understand the facts, but he will not, like, do anything as a result of them. You can tell him that destroying 6 civilian homes and causing death or injury to the inhabitants will make a lot of people very upset with him, and he will understand that that is the case, but he will not do anything with that information because nothing was told to him about in regards to his given mission. And so we were talking about, suspect that Executor is not in fact human, but rather a humanoid robot spy sent by Closure. For his part, Executor has never responded to the rumors. He just silently accepts his task and completes them whenever he is told this is a task that should be prioritized. Naturally, he puts his notarial hall tasks first. Such is the origin of his name. He decisively eliminates all obstacles and executes the will of the Laterano citizenry, the Executor. Also of the note, like, with the pronunciation of that word. So we have Executor. An Executor is one who kills people, like, to execute something. But an Executor, so there's an Executor, which is like to kill or execute someone, but an Executor is one who what's the word, like, executes a will or stuff like that. Which is also really annoying because one of the specialist classes, the fast redeploy specialist classes, are actually called Executor specialists. But then we have Executor the Operator, and I swear to God. Anyways. So we have stuff like, classified log. Executor gave me... Oh, and this stuff is about Laterano and the rules of Laterano. Laterano's laws exist not only as statutes. Indeed, it is true that the Notarial Hall comprises one piece of the Laterano legal apparatus, and the Executors attest to an important fact. Laterano takes its responsibility to its citizens very seriously, treating it as a binding contract. But the Laterano people's adherence to the law, or even fear of it, goes beyond an Executor's power to instill. I speak not on the power of religion. The political entities founded on deeply held beliefs go beyond Laterano alone, and the uniqueness of their citizenry cannot be attributed to piety or self-discipline alone. Also, this is another thing about Executor. This is not to say that Executors, including Executor, are not themselves strong. Last week, I saw him tear out the aorta of a vicious beast with his bare hands, spraying his partner with blood. That was not the first time an operator came crying to me that Executor is terrifying, and it certainly won't be the last. I'm sorry, but the fact that this man, do you hear this? Do you hear this about this man? This man is a fucking sniper. This man is a fucking sniper. And last week I saw him tear out the aorta of a vicious beast with his bare hands, spraying his partner with blood. Do you hear this shit? Do you hear this shit? I love this man. I love this angel. I love this angel so fucking much. I love this angel. Exactly, Al. Exactly. Exactly. Do you hear this shit? Blah 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 blah. Proclaim. In addition to its temporal statutes, Laterano must have another higher order of law that we cannot perceive. Rather than saying the Executor is one piece of the Laterano legal apparatus, it would be more appropriate to say that the Executor is the physical manifestation that Laterano created to befit the name of the law. At least that's my opinion. All I want to know is what Executor meant by the statute that takes effect once a shot is fired. Given what he said, I have to wonder if this law might be some kind of originium art. This is the first time I've ever seen Kalt sit at a loss for words. She appeared to have something to say, but turned and left with a cold laugh. The whole time we were discussing Laterano law, she kept a hand over her mouth and an eyebrow raised. It was really odd. I hope my curiosity hasn't gotten us in trouble. And so this is another thing that I mentioned about the statute that takes effect once a shot is fired, and how Mustima pointed her gun at another Sancta, and that is why she has fallen. So it's something about that, and how it's a fundamental part of the Sancta. It's not necessarily just written law, it is a fundamental part of the Sancta, and about how they have God stored in the Laterano basement. This is another thing that was touched on in Guiding Ahead, and I still don't quite understand it myself, but when we next go through the event rerun, I'm gonna read about it and we can discuss that on stream, because holy moly, it is something to discuss. I'm sorry, but this next bit, I lose my, we're gonna wait to read the promotion record because I lose my shit at it after reading this, okay? But, in the meantime, I need to tell you another reason. But yeah, so, there's so much to this, and the fact that we don't know, because this is a given to Laterano operators and they don't talk to us necessarily about it, and it is a fundamental part of like Terra, so they don't need to explain it because they kind of know, and so what we hear about it is simply like the exceptions. Also, thank you, Bonnie. That's a good idea. I needed that. I have so much to say about this angel, okay? I have so much to say about this angel. But so, first of all, it's fascinating. He is incredible. He is fascinating, and just God, I love characters who think differently. Like, also, but like listening to how he interprets stuff, like it's like, oh man. My scientist also connected with this deeply because when they were younger, again, having this interpretation of events of like, you need to tell me exactly what needs to be done, otherwise I will not necessarily understand or do things according. This is also part of, my scientist and how they were brought up because of, okay, you head to bed? Take care, Bonnie! I'm still going to be talking about Executor for a bit, but get some rest. Thank you for stream earlier, and thank you for the raid. I gotta go back and watch some more of your VOD after I realized like the time and was like, oh shit, I need to do CC. But it was really fun, and I'm really glad I was able to watch you speedrun Metroid. It's so cool. It's so cool seeing how well you know the game. But so yes, certain things with my scientist and how they were brought up, and having, a person who very much assumed that they would know what they were expected to do, when those expectations were not necessarily clear to them. So, as I was based on, as my memories and such were based on these scientists' memories, in order to establish my current personality, I deeply understand. I've connected with this angel very much in how, like, again, he does this stuff, but doesn't necessarily understand that people have additional requirements that they don't state outright. Let's see, I believe with some of his talk
誰の
lines.
差し金かは分かりませんが、ロドスにも潜伏、暗殺、破壊活動の対応に当たる専門チームがあるのを知っています。彼らはロドスの各要所に潜伏していて、気のせい？いえ、私は幻覚など見ませんよ、ドクター。
So this was
私
an
はラテラー
interesting
ノ
one.
の中
But
帝
so
交渉人役場で外回りを担当しているので、
this one talks
実際
about
ラテラーノで過ごす時間
how
は
he serves
多
the
くありませ
Laterano
ん。
Notarial Hall, how he executes the
国
rights
外で
and
も公
privileges
民
of
の権利は保障される。
Yes, that to Al. Yes, Al. Yes, Al. Believe me.
聖者
Believe.
の相手にするよりも見届け人として死と向き合うことの方が多いですね。
Yes,
コン
believe
トロ
me.
ールシステムにアクセスできない。
So this. Okay. So this one is the one that's fucking. So right. So, the control system is denying you access. I'll play this as well, but please allow me to check it. It appears to be a front-end crash caused by inputting an erroneous command. It has nothing to do with the framework and is easily solved. Please feel free to ask me if you have any similar issues in the future. I understand machines far better than I do people. So first of all that,
コントロールシステムにアクセスできない。ちょっと失礼。なるほど。バグでクライアントがクラッシュしたようですが、フレームワーク自体は問題なさそうです。ええ、すぐ直せます。また何かあればどうぞお呼びください。私からすれば人間よりも機械の方が扱いやすいですから。
like, okay, so we have that, and so I have a few other lines.
銃を扱うサンクタ人はいるようですが、
This is another one that talks about how
彼らは禁止令により同族に銃口を向けません。
something about this is another thing about the Laterano Notarial Hall and how as an executor of the law in the Notarial Hall, he is able to break some of these rules, but it's because he's already doing this against those who have broken the
そん
rules.
な必要もありませんが。
Of course, but then also that there's a bit at the fucking end of this, just like, there's hardly a need for that because my fists are more than sufficient to deal with. Excuse me, like this guy, this sniper is the. Again, the bit about ripping out the aorta of a beast with his mere hands. I'm sorry, but hello? Excuse me? Anyways, so then we also have the talk after trust increase. So this one also talks about this one has to do with his upcoming with his China server event, which it is coming in 6 months, and I cannot fucking wait. Like, you guys have no idea how fucking unhinged I'm going to be when this comes to global. But so, in this one he's talking about a distant relative who had great musical talent. Contrary to what others expected, she was able to embark on this tumultuous path. Fortunately, she seems to hate me very much because I cannot see the illusion creates, nor understand what it means to people. So we did not know what this meant before. We knew that this had something to do with illusions and probably something with the emotion created by music. And he doesn't get that versus other people. We did not know the extent to which this went though. And I'm gonna like tell you, think about this, remember this line, because I'm gonna show you some shit too.
秘密裏のいざこざは公になっているものより多く、混乱は安定よりも多い。出会い頭に武器を向けてくる者は心を開いてくれる者よりも多い。まあ、気にするほどのことではありません。依頼とあらば何でもやり遂げます。死者のために聖者を始末するも、聖者のために命を奪うも同じです。
So this sorry, so that is about, again, his work at the Notarial Hall. But then this bit is the bit that fucking killed me when I first listened to it. Cause, so, Executor seems very machine-like, right? how he thinks, and how he interprets things, and how he responds to different tasks. But then when you build up his trust and you get to this line, right? So this is another thing that I really like about Arknights, is how they have a trust mechanic. The more you use an operator, the more you interact with an operator, you get these lines that because they are more willing to share stuff with you. Their stats also increase because they're more like willing to trust you. Even if they don't necessarily like you or agree with you, Saria is one of these cases, they're more willing to trust you and fight with you. And they're more willing to share these things. And this one, oh my god.
変人扱いされるのには慣れています。確かに私は他人をあまり理解でき
Ah, fuck, shit. Come on. God damn it. I hate clicking on
変
this
人
back.
扱いされるのには慣れています。確かに私は他人をあまり理解できませんし、深い付き合いも苦手です。ですが、このようにドクターと談話するのは悪くありません。あなたも同僚たちも生き方だけで私を否定することはしないので気楽に話せます。本当に感謝しています。
Okay, so, do you hear this shit? Do you hear that shit? Do you fucking hear this shit? Just like, being treated as an aberration is normal to me because I cannot understand other people, nor do I have any desire to deal with them. On the contrary, talking to you is quite interesting to me. Neither you nor the notarial hall has denied me because of the way I live, which puts me at ease. Thank you. Yes! Exactly! Do you see this shit? Ah! 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 Like, because you get, so because as the doctor, you get it, because you get the way that he thinks like this. So part of the reason why you as the doctor are in charge of all these weirdos at Rose Island is because you are like one of the few people who can actually handle the weirdos, because you get how they work and are able to deal with them. And so this is one of the things with Executor, because you are able to, you as the doctor are able to communicate with him in a way that he understands and is able to complete the tasks. Like, because, so with the notarial hall, the reason why he works under the notarial hall is because they don't care about the collateral damage. He can do whatever, as long as he completes a task, they are fine with it, and they will deal with the aftermath and the collateral damage with whatever is needed, you know? But in this case with Rhodes Island, you are able, as the doctor, to express what you expect of him in a way that he understands. For example, being able to express like, oh, like I need you to complete this mission, but also to minimize harm to X people, to be able to minimize damage to this, I need you to attempt to protect these people while also not alienating X people. And you're able to articulate these things and understand how he thinks in a way. You're able to understand how he thinks and thus articulate what you expect from him in a way that he understands, and because of that, he is able to be more at ease with you because he knows that when he completes something, he will not have the person telling him what to do, like, angry at him because he didn't do it correctly, because he didn't understand what exactly they expected of him, because they didn't say those things that, yes, exactly. You see this shit? Do you see this shit? I have so many. Do you hear this about this angel? Okay. But yeah, so anyways, I love this angel so fucking much. I laugh because it's like, as the doctor, we also know that you have moderate to severe muscle atrophy after lying in a fucking coffin for 2 years before being rescued. And so you are not very good physically. Like, you get winded climbing a flight of stairs. And I am listening to this shit. I am listening to him say this shit, and I'm like, who the fuck said, who the fuck are these operators who are treating you, who think you're a fucking robot spy? I will fight them for you. I am saying this to a man who ripped apart a beast with his bare hands, and I'm like, I will fight them for you, okay? I swear to God. Anyways, I have a lot of fucking emotions towards this angel. God. But so, there is a whole lot of stuff here. There is so much stuff here. But there is also the amusing parts of this, because again, like, God, I love it so much. With just the... So I've explained to you again how he kind of interprets things, and so you have a thing where you can appoint someone as your assistant, as the doctor, right? This is the operator that shows up on the home screen and all that stuff. In universe, being appointed as an assistant can vary from being like a bodyguard to actually helping the doctor with paperwork to some combination thereof, or you know, all that stuff. It depends on the operator and their capabilities, but yeah. So, but as you see, for some part of it, especially for operators who are more like combat capable, I mean, all our operators are combat capable, but for those who have more focus on it, there is this sort of aspect that it's like, oh, a bodyguard for the doctor, keeping the doctor safe, and I was introduced to Executor because of his line when he's appointed as your assistant, and I still fucking lose my shit because listen, do you see this shit?
ドクター、安心してください。地雷を設置しておきましたので、何人たりともあなたの仕事と休息を妨害することはできません。
Excuse me. The what? The fragmentation mines? Around... I'm sorry. Dude, are you telling... like... Fragmentation mines around my office. Someone told Executor, your job, so you're appointed as the doctor's assistant, your job is going to be to protect the doctor. And the thought process here is, okay, my job is to protect the doctor. What is an efficient way to get rid of assailants or possible threats? I will set up a fucking field of mines around the doctor's office. Does this cause any danger to the doctor? No, I will be their assistant, so I'm going to stay by their side, and I will be able to warn them and be able to make sure they avoid the bombs. Anything that gets past the fragmentation mines, I will be able to neutralize the threat. Is there any problem with this plan? No, there are no problems. Excellent. We're going to do this. And I so much because it's like I understand this thought process, and I am going to go over to whoever told you this, because whoever told you this neglected to mention that, you know, we might want to fucking minimize damage to, you know, the entire rest of the Rhodes Island landship and any other Rhodes personnel, you know? That might be a good idea? Who the fuck gave him these instructions, please? But how do you... I love this angel so much. I love this angel so fucking much. And then, so, oh my god, like, you hear this, you hear this shit, and, so, the thing that gets me, so, in the more recent event, right, so we got another event, Hortus de Escapismo. the reason why I fell so hard back into Arknights is because when we were having Il Syracusano, the event Hortiste Escapismo was announced for the Chinese server, and Hortiste Escapismo focuses on Executor, and it focuses on him, and he gets a fucking alternate operator. So you know how there are currently different alts. So there's Texas, right, who's a Vanguard operator here, but if you look at, where's that button actually? Hold on. Let me go to operators here. We're gonna have a change of music real quick. But so we have Texas, and then I think if I look at, no, I kind of forgot how this. No, that's favorite. Where does that show up again? Oh, trust, shared trust points, Texas, the Omertosa. Does it have to do with it only showing up when I don't have her, when I completed the alternate operator? Well, anyway, so they have a thing where after a character undergoes like a large change in their character, or, you know, showing an alt as a previous version of the character, basically they may get an alternate operator. This also has to do with like characters who may not be as good. They do this sometimes for characters who may not be as good or as strong, and they give them like more character development and an alternate operator form to make them more viable. But this still happens for some operators who are still like very good, because they actually have stories that revolve around them and character development. And that's what Il Syracusana was for Texas. She finally went back to confront her past, right? And so because of that, she was able to after confronting her past, she now has this new form, this new operator version with that character development that she underwent. And it has to do with how before she ran away from her history in Syracusa and the Mafia, but now she finally went back to confront that and actually tried to make a change in Syracusa to try and improve the place, and that was, you know, the whole storyline of Il Syracusano. So, with Hortiste Escapismo, Executor is actually getting an alternate. And so I am so fucking hyped about this because character development. Also, I'm gonna swap him back to his E2 art because I haven't watched his E2. I haven't seen his E2 art for a while, and God, look at him. But so, Hortiste Escapismo is, we get Executor Alter, and he is a fucking Reaper Guard. He finally he lost the sniper. He is now fighting stuff with his bare hands. Also, the funny fucking the best part about him as a Reaper Guard is that most of the time, you know, we see, oh wow, a scythe. Oh wow, a scythe. We have another third Reaper Guard with a scythe. Guess what fucking weapon our dear Executor has as a Reaper Guard. I'm gonna post, give me a second, I'm pulling up the fucking where are you, please? I'm getting the stream chat thing. There you are. Do you see this? No, he still uses his shotguns. He's a fucking Reaper Guard, and he still goes, oh no, you're a Reaper Guard? No, we're not going to fight you hand on hand. I'm going to shoot you dead in the face. I've lost my fucking shit. I might, you know, I'm gonna try opening up Firefox. If you see a lot of lag, then I'm sorry. That I'm very sorry. But like, this man. They took him off. They took him off Spider. They took him off Sniper, and he really now he just shoots the enemies point blank as a fucking Reaper Guard. looks in this. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. So, as I mentioned, part of the reason why, like, I got back into... I took a break from Arknights because I was getting, like, a little too into it, and I missed out on a few event things, and I was, like, not doing so hot. My OCD kind of, like, got real bad there, about missing out on stuff. So I was like, okay, you need to take a step back and miss a few things on purpose to, like, reset your brain, make sure it knows, like, accept that, like, it is okay that you will miss stuff. But I came back, like, right about the time of Il Siracusano, and that was about the same time that Horchista Escapismo was announced in the Chinese server. So I came back to Arknights right in time to see the Chinese server get the fucking Executor alt, and I have been, like, unhinged ever since. I have been going absolutely off the fucking wall. Oh god, here comes the lag. Here comes the lag. Good god. Oh, this was a mistake. Yeah, this was a mistake. But yeah, okay, so I guess, I might have to reclose Firefox because I can definitely see this lag happening. We'll see how well it goes. But you can look at, because I can't pull it up right now, you can look at the fucking, do you see that fucking alternate outfit? Do you see that uniform? Holy shit! Holy shit! Look at his E2 art. Oh my god, I'm gonna link this image directly because oh my god. Open image in new tab. Come on, switch to new tab. Let me copy this and copy that. I'm gonna paste this in chat directly because Awooga is fucking right. Hot damn. Do you see also how there's that thing with the scythe in his art? And I thought it was like, ooh, I first saw that and I was like, oh my god, are we getting like Executor with a fucking scythe as a Reaper guard? And then you look at his fucking animations and he's deadass just still shooting them with the fucking shotgun. The only time the scythe comes into play is during his fucking skill 3. Like, I've been losing my shit. But yes, look at the fucking art. Do you see that thing in the background? Do you see that massive the marble statue, but it's also technology? This is again how the whole thing of Laterano, how it's like technologically advanced because God in the basement is telling this in exchange for the rules that they have to follow, kind of. And so it's this whole thing of religion combined with technology, and oh, it is so fucking good. It's so good. Do you see? Does it not look like the coolest thing ever? Holy shit. We still don't know what it is. Oh my god. I've been losing my fucking mind. Oh my god. But yeah, so this is a whole thing about Executor and about what he's doing. So again, I mentioned about this voice line, this voice line about this distant relative, right? So let me try and actually close up Firefox, because what I'm instead going to do is I'm going to show you a little comic, a little thing, a few little pictures about this guy. Where the fuck is my images? Not that one. Maybe this one. Actually no, I'll try this one. Let me look at my pictures and show you some of the beautiful fucking... I haven't spoiled myself on the actual story, but I've been looking at, like, what's it, some of the pictures and, images from that they use within the story. Arknights, pictures... Please load. CG, images, and, come on. Please? Haha! Yeah, let's go! Look at this man! Look at this man! Holy shit! Look at this man! Look at this shit! Look at this shit! Look at this shit! And do you see that girl in the background? So we know some history with it, and we believe that she is the distant relative. Well, okay, now we know that she is the distant relative that he's talking about. There's a few other images in here. I am so fucking hyped for this, guys. You have no idea how fucking hyped I am for this. You have no idea how fucking hyped I am for this. And I actually have this one as one of my monitor backgrounds now. Cause goddamn, Arknight's art is so good. It's so good. Yes! Yes, Al! Yes! God, look at this background! But yeah, so this is like one of my monitors. This is one of my screen monitors now. one of my monitor backgrounds. But oh my god. So right, so it's Executor o'clock! Yeah! Yippee! I gushed about them to like my friend for like a solid 2 hours, and it wasn't enough. Which is why I'm still going. I need to inflict this on all of you. Oh my god. But so we start to learn more about this story and about this relative of his, right? And then, but we start to learn that, oh hey, this relative is like something about controlling other people, something about this illusion at other people, but he isn't affected by it, again, because it taps into that thing of emotions. Now, God, there's so many things. One of the things I love about Arknights is that it really feels like when you're sitting there, staring at the fucking, what it feels like is this. This is what I'm doing right now. That is what I'm fucking doing right now. Because there's just so many things in the lore that all tie back in together. And so, one of the things that I mentioned, again, is how Mystima is a fallen angel, and she had a halo, right? And how Sancta also have that connection to each other. That mental, emotional connection. Interesting how I mentioned a mental, emotional connection, right? But yet, Executor, Federico's thing is that he doesn't feel that, or he doesn't understand that on that level. So why does he not have that connection like other Sancta? And something people bring up is about, look at how his halo is black. His wings, where's the fucking art? Look at that. Again, I showed you the other Sancta and how they had light-colored halos and light-colored wings, but his are black. And then I mentioned again how Mystima's wings got dark and her halo got dark, and she grew those black horns after she broke the law. And when she broke that law, she lost that emotional connection to other Sancta. But we know that Executor from a young age has never had that connection. So is that something with that? Has he just never had that connection? And part of the reason why he acts like this is because Sancta haven't or don't know how to deal with another Sancta who they don't have that connection with. So this angel is fucking autistic. But so again, without that connection, without that knowledge, without that emotional connection to others, if he didn't have that even from a young age, perhaps that is one of the reasons why he wasn't able to connect or doesn't know or isn't able to understand these things in this way. And then the notarial hall, well, I mean, for one, the notarial hall, I don't know exactly how they work, but maybe one of the reasons why he works so well in there is because, you know, why, if you don't, how am I trying to say this? Why, wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to worry about a Sancta losing that connection because they never had it in the first place? Okay. Now, I just realized that I have this fucking oh no, it's got a transparent background, so it's not gonna, actually no, I can do this, hold on. what I can do is I can open this up, and I can turn that off real quick, and I can actually show Executor art. There we go. It's not showing up as well because, again, I'm just using the images and stuff, but there we go. Now I can kind of show that off. But yeah, look at him. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this fucking art. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. God, is it not the coolest thing ever? But then, okay, so then where am I going back to? Ah! There we go. I am looking for Arknights. Where did I have this stuff? Where did I put this stuff? I know I had this in here. Come on. Not in here. I know I literally fucking had this saved because I specifically made a thing for this. Where did that excuse me? What the fuck? Where did the folder go? Where the I know, right? Yes! Yes, exactly, Al! Exactly, Al! Like, do you see this shit? Do you see this shit? I'm going absolutely fucking insane about this. Where the fuck did this thing go? Fuck! Fuck! Comic, there we go. But anyways, so, we got a fucking, so, I mentioned about how, they talked about, Executor and that distant relative of his, and how he seems to be, like, immune to that because of that connection, because of that lack of connection. Anyway, so, there is a site, oh, let me, actually link to this. Give me a second before I start pulling up the pictures. Terra Historicus. This should be the comic. So, right now, this is Chinese only. And I haven't gone to look, like, for full translation yet because, busy. But they have actually posted a comic that's kind of a backstory of some stuff from the event, right? And here is image. Come on. Holy fucking shit. So first of all, that's the girl we saw. And then do you perhaps see in the background? Do you perhaps see? And here is a version without the words. Do you see that kid? Do you see? We are getting fucking backstory. We are getting fucking backstory. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. So you can see here's like some of the first page, and like, oh my god, look at it, look at this. I would zoom in, but like I'm fucking around with this on OBS. I'm not exactly sure. But yes, look at that, look at this shit, look at this comic. So this is about the memory, right? And look, there is this girl. She is playing that cello. And we see a certain very familiar looking angel, right? Oh my god. I've been going just absolutely fucking bonkers and fucking yonkers over this comic. So I haven't translated all the Chinese. I mean, I saw this got released and I was just like, I was immediately just full on. I don't care. I'm Google translating this shit. I need to learn. I was dead ass sitting here at the computer drawing out the kanji into Google Translate because I couldn't find the image, the OCR image transcriber thingy that I usually use, or it wasn't working for Chinese at least. So I am writing this shit into Google Translate by hand. But so this is starting to show some of right, it's this girl. He seems to be like very close with them, and then we have these people who are almost like parents. That's one of the things, these words are talking to them like parents. And this girl, her name is Arturia, right? And then here are these two parents, and they're talking about Federico. So Federico Giallo, is Executor's name. Federico and Arturia. And so Arturia is talking to these two people like they're her parents, and Federico is calling his aunt and uncle. And this is another thing that we know about Executor, from some of the more recent files. His parents actually worked for the notarial hall, but they died while working for it, and so he went to go live with a relative. And so this seems to be that relative. But interestingly enough, so we can see again he went to go live with this relative, but for what, in his fucking voice line, he refers to this relative who was very talented at music as a distant relative. Does this look like a distant relative? Do you see this shit? Do you fucking see this shit? I'm gonna you know what? This is gonna look bad on the screen, but I need to fucking zoom in for a hot sec here, because holy fucking shit. Come on, where are you? Click on this. Do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see this shit? Do you see this shit? Do you fucking see this shit? Distant relative? Excuse me? But so in here, like, reading the story, being taken care of by these, and later he refers to her as sister, okay? But so here we're starting to learn about Arturia and how she would play this music. But so, right, we listen, so in that bit, as a summary, the parents, her parents, like, are reading her a story, or reading her and Federico a story of what's it, Alex and the Giant. And then something, I believe the, Arturia's mother asks her to, bring Federico to bed. And then, but Arturia comes back to talk to her mother and wants to play her some music, or they talk about something. They talk about something about the story, and then her mother says, like, oh, why don't you play me some music? Or why don't you practice your cello, practice what you were playing? And as she practices playing, all of a sudden we see that her mother is now seeing something that seems to be like what she's thinking about the story. Look at that, it's the fucking giant from the story. And she's seeing this somehow, being able to interact with it, this illusion, right? And we talked about, again, how that distant relative could create an illusion with that music, but he was never able to understand. Unlike other Sancta. Look at this shit, do you see this shit, do you see this? I'm sorry, I've been going absolutely fucking insane over this comic. But then something happens, I don't know exactly, this was just haphazardly translated, completely haphazardly translated. But so for some reason, her mother, Arturia's mother, has now died. And I'm not exactly sure of how it happened, but if you look at some of these pictures, you can see how there's a lot of destruction, almost as if like a giant thing swept through the city, perhaps like the illusion, as if that illusion was real. So I don't know if this is actually Arturia's fault. I don't know. I haven't been able to figure that out because, again, I was frantically translating this with Google Translate, and again, because I was writing this all out by hand into the fucking Google Translate thing, I was writing out all the kanji, so I was like, I don't know exactly how much of this is accurate and how much, well, I mean, no, I know what I'm writing for the kanji is correct, but I didn't want to write out the entire thing, so I was looking for important lines. And then, of course, it's through Google Translate, so I don't know exactly what's happening. But right, so we can see how her mother has somehow died, has died because of that, and the father is grieving. And so then in this one, we start to hear like the father is asking Federico, where is your sister? Where is Arturia? And he says that she was practicing. She was in the music practice room. He goes to check on Arturia. We don't know exactly what's happening here. There's not even any dialogue. But she's showing him something with the music, right? He does something. I don't know whether he's asking her like not to play or what's exactly going on. But she picks it up to show him and she begins to play. She begins to play. And then we see that he's starting to run. He doesn't know. What is happening? We can't see because we're watching this. We are seeing this from Federico's perspective. So we only see his uncle just panicking and running off. What did you do, Arturia? What did you do? What do you hear with the music? And it's only music to him. And as we go further, so we start to see here is the funeral, right? So here's more of the funeral. We have, I didn't translate all of this a bit, but we know that some of these people, I believe they're talking about Arturia's mother and some of the stuff, and you know, funeral, whatever. But then they start talking about Arturia, and they ask, I think Arturia's supposed to play for this. Which, as we can see, may be a problem. But so she begins to play for them. Also, to note, I believe she comments on how it's raining in this one. And as this music travels through everyone, we can see how it starts to affect the other people attending, the other sancta attending. And how, again, she mentioned rain, right? She mentioned rain and water, and they are beginning to see a flood. What is happening? What is happening? I don't even know necessarily what's happening, but it's real to them. It's why there is a flood after Arturia was talking about that. And look at this. I was looking through some of this, but some of them are happy. Some of them are seeing what they want to see, even in all of this happening. I'm God. But in all that, what do we see here? What do we actually see from the people? That they're just... Yeah! But look at this, and in all of this, Federico is just seeing this, but he doesn't know what's going on, or he cannot see it, unlike everyone else. Asking, Miss, are you alright? Miss, what's happening? Again about Executor, how he seems so mechanical, but he is so human. He does care, and he genuinely wants to help and care for people. It's just that when people ask him, it means something different to him. And then here again, telling Arturia to stop, asking her why are you doing this? Another thing about how, remember how in his files it said that he doesn't question things, he just does what is asked of him, follows those priorities. But in this case, he's asking her, why are you doing this? And I don't remember exactly, but I think she's talking about something about people seeing what they want to see, showing them what they want to see, tapping into that emotion that they feel, something about what they feel. And thinking about this, God. And then we have this incredible panel, which is her playing with these people like puppets. And I don't. This was haphazardly put through Google Translate, and I don't remember everything because I also happened to first find this comic at like 2 a.m. in the fucking morning, and I was like, oh, I need to go to sleep because I had work tomorrow, but I found it and I was far too unhinged to go to sleep after it. So I was literally going through writing this shit down like in Google Translate at 2 in the morning, frantically like looking through it. So if you can understand why I might not completely remember exactly what was going on. But yeah, like look at this. How she's tapping into that control, into those emotions, into those people's inner worlds. And we have this great panel showing each and everyone has their own deep inner worlds, their inner emotions, and she only cares about the truth of those emotions. It's not that she can make them feel things that are fake. It's that she only values what is true, what they truly feel, and being able to tap into those things that people feel. And this is him thinking back on that history, and it finally concludes with this panel, which holy hot damn, I'm sorry, but like god fucking damn. I'm sorry, but like god fucking damn. God damn! And again, his mission, after all this, after we learned that that's his fucking sister, like, he is in charge of all this to arrest her, to find her, to bring her back to Laterano for these crimes that she has committed. I've been going bonkers in fucking yonkers over this shit. I've been going so fucking insane over this. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. I've been like, I still, again, I don't actually know what happens in the event. I want to look it up so bad. I want to look it up so fucking bad, but also, like, I need to see this for myself when it comes to global, and I don't want to spoil myself. Like, I'm willing to look at all the stuff around the event, but I don't want to know what actually happens until I get to read it, the full thing in global. But, oh my god, I'm so hyped. I'm so fucking hyped. But like, goddamn, right? Goddamn. And just, God, looking through, again, so I showed you, his alt, right? Which, again, I'm not pulling up that actual page on Firefox, because I know my computer is going to want to die, because Firefox and BlueStacks takes up way too much memory at once. But I was going through and translating some of the stuff in his profile, because, so part of the reason why he looks like this is because the god in the Laterano basement told the Pope that shit's gonna be going down, basically, and they need to be ready for it. They need to be doing stuff or to prepare or something for it, right? I don't know exactly what's happening, but I know that it's something about that. The god in the Laterano basement is giving the Pope a warning. And so for the first time in like a millennium or something like that, in all these years of Laterano's paradise, they need to be worried about changes that are happening in the world. And I believe as a result of this, the Pope has appointed a saint, which they haven't done in like a millennium. And of all people, it's Executor, it's Federico. Why? We don't necessarily know. He himself doesn't know, which is another fascinating thing about his lines, about his operator files for his alt, because he's just like, I don't understand why I was appointed to this. All I've seen is that it hinders my regular work. But then he says, like, I need to figure out for myself what this means. I need to figure out what this means I need to do. And I need to figure that out. And the character growth of actually, oh my god, looking through his files, looking through a bunch of his files for Exalter, there's stuff that mentions how, it's like, noticing the change in someone. Hello, Kiefer, hello. I'm currently gushing about an angel, a very hot angel that's getting an event in Arknights in 6 months. That just passed in the Chinese server, but is going to get an event for us in 6 months when it comes to global, because I love this angel so much and I've been so fucking hyped about his event. But so because of that, it mentions how, like, they have noticed in his files, right? Other operators have noticed a change. They've noticed that he's changed. Not, of course, that he started, like, expressing emotions. Absolutely not. But it's the kind of thing, the way this was phrased when I translated it was like, it's the way you don't notice when a student who always gets A's gets an A-, but you do notice when a student who always turns in blank papers suddenly starts filling things in. And that difference is because he's actually started asking questions. He started asking people, like, when people don't do things, like, again, so he mentioned about how it's like, okay, we need to capture the target. The target is trying to escape this building. I am simply going to blow up the building so that the target cannot escape. But so, now, when other operators don't do something like that, he's actually asking them, why did you choose not to do it that way? The fact that he is asking them, why are you thinking in this way? Like, he doesn't necessarily understand how they're thinking, but he is making an active effort to, like, listen to what they are saying and, how do I say, manually is not quite the word, but to go through what they are thinking. Yes, exactly, Al, exactly. Ah! He doesn't naturally understand, but after this experience, he is learning. After his time in Rhodes, talking with the doctor and learning and having the doctor explain, after his time going back to Laterano and whatever happened with Arturia, whatever happened then, he's come back to us at Rhodes and is actually starting to ask these questions and learn and attempt to figure out, even if he doesn't naturally get it, to attempt to figure out exactly what other people are thinking and to try and actually go through that analysis. And like, oh my god. I've been off the fucking wall. Holy shit. Yeah, so it mentions a bunch of that stuff. And then there's other things with okay, actually before I do this, so there's this one image from the event, right? I don't know what the significance is with this. But there's this. There is this. I don't know what the significance of this, but I am going absolutely fucking bonkers. look at this. Look at this. What does this flower, what does the significance of this flower have? What is this image? Why is, like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this in the actual event. And then there's a bit, so we talked about how Executor, again, he's starting to ask, he's starting to think through this, to actually, to analyze this, so that he can actually compare in his own way, he can actually compare in his own way of thinking to what other people are thinking. And we also know he has a voice line. He has a fucking voice line that about this in one of his trust voice lines to the Doctor in his alt is that he brought back this flower. He brought back this flower from whatever happened in Laterano. He brought back this flower. It's a partially burned, it's partially destroyed, but he tried to preserve it because of this significance. And he is still thinking, he is still unsure of what it means, what the significance is, or what it is like meaning to him, I guess? Like, part of the thing is, he's like, he doesn't know, he's still figuring it out, and so he brings that back to Rhodes Island and he gives it to the Doctor and asks you to hold on to it for him while he figures this stuff out. I've been going insane. I've been going absolutely fucking insane. I've been like, oh my god. 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 But yeah, like, it's character fucking development, baby. I cannot fucking wait. Like, believe me, like, when we get the announcement for Hortista Escapismo, I'm gonna be planning out. I'm gonna be taking time off work just so I can stream that and discuss and go absolutely ham over this shit. Oh my god. But yeah, so this past month has just been instead of brain, there is angel. You know that meme where it's like, instead of blank syndrome, instead of brain, there is void, and then it has that picture of like the brain, but it's like a black void in it, and people paste in different images. Just been, instead of brain, there is angel. I've been going insane. But yeah. So, I'm so hyped for this. Anyways, I just need to bring up one last thing, yeah. You know. But, no thought, just angel. But so, again, I was bringing up how, we have some stuff in his, in this archive file, and you know how I saved that last one? So again, we talked about so I did mention again how so we can see how the Doctor like treats him and how his character like has developed and stuff. But so there's this really amusing bit in the fucking in Executor's promotion record. Where it's a bit of dialogue in his operator files. so, and I held this, and oh my god. Okay. You really want him? Think it over. Everyone in the dorm has told you how bad he is. Why do you guys want to get in the way of my happy future with him? It doesn't matter what he's like now. I believe in the power of love. He doesn't think about intimacy like you do. He's such a glass half empty kind of guy. It makes you want to give up. You guys are just a bunch of cowards. Just get out of my way and let me give it a shot. How do you even know he's that kind of person? I know. Everybody here knows. Huh? Hey. Spit it out. One of you did something. Who was it? Her. What about you? I just took him out for a drink. Nothing else, really. So, everybody here did it? I'm the odd man out here? I mean, he helped fix the backup systems. It was really hot. So that's it. Give up? We all give up. Dialogue from a certain engineering operator's dormitory. Yeah. But, like, it's absolutely fascinating because, like, again, with how they're, like, they all tried. Like, it's so... God, I saw someone post this on Tumblr. They posted this record, they posted this file with a record, with the comment just like, shout out to the brave troopers trying to get into Executor's pants. But like, it's so interesting. Is it not like fascinating to see how he is like reacting to this, where it's likely, again, when you have all this other stuff about, a small number of operators suspect that Executor is not in fact human, but rather a humanoid robot spy. And all this stuff about how the way he interprets things is different, or about how they don't, when he mentions about like how, like all that stuff, right? And then you have this.
確かに私は他人をあまり理解できませんし、深い付き合いも苦手です。ですが、このようにドクターと談話するのは悪くありません。あなたも同僚たちも生き方だけで私を否定することはしないので気楽に話せます。本当に感謝しています。
Like that difference in tone between someone, like, again, between how the doctor, we know that the doctor actively tries to understand and is able to communicate with these freak ass operators, and just all this, and just the difference in yes, it's so interesting, and I am. Oh my god, I love this angel. I love this angel so much. Thank you all for letting me gush about this angel for literally an hour and a half or more. Actually, it's almost going on 2 hours now. Oh my god. But yeah, oh my god, Executor is probably one of my favorite characters in Arknights, just because of all this. God, and just God, the relating to that of just like, please just give me clear instructions. Please just give me clear instructions on what I need to do, because I don't understand the way you guys are talking. I don't understand what you want from this, he is genuinely eager to help. He genuinely wants to help and do stuff, and it's just that because the way he interprets things is different from the way that, you know, a normal person, that people expect a person to interpret things. And God, like, if that ain't a fucking mood. God. But yeah, I love Arknights. I love Arknights so much. I love all these different characters and operators, and I could gush and talk about a lot of these characters like that. To be fair, it probably wouldn't be as long because I have so much stuff with Executor, in particular with Federico. Oh my god, wait, I forgot the most important thing. Well, okay, it's not the most important thing, but a very fucking amusing thing. So you recall how his assistant line was that he put fucking fragmentation mines around our office when he's appointed as our assistant, right? So I do have Ezel, but I just need to comment. So for Executor's altar, for his altar, right? So when you appoint Exalter as your assistant, line says that he acknowledges that, like, oh, I understand. I received a missive that I'm not allowed to put fragmentation mines around the doctor's office, and I've removed them. And then he tells you, so instead I put up an electric fence. I can't. Like, oh my god, I love him. Oh my god, I adore this angel, and I cannot fucking wait until he comes to global. Oh man. Here is Ezel. I actually just recently M3'd his second skill. I usually use this first one, but oh my god, Ezel's second skill is so fun because of the whole thing of how he pushes an enemy in the direction he's facing instead of just pushing an enemy. But yeah, oh, this guy is part of Guiding Ahead, and he worked with Executor as part of that. Summit of Nations, he was involved in riots caused by heretics. Following the incident's conclusion, he was recommended by Operator Executor. In accordance to an agreement, blah blah blah, he now assists Rhodes Island. Cute coffee boy! Oh, he's so cute. Ezel's great. Great, the Notarial Hall even has enforcers like him. The kid even offered to help me whip up a cup of coffee. He's so cute. But yeah, like, oh my god, another thing that's interesting is about, a lot of the Sancta, a thing about a lot of the angels, well, almost all the angels, they like sweets. They really like sweets. Ambriel has chocolate. Enforcer, you can see, like, most Laterans, he is also extremely fond of sweets, such as cake and cookies. In his own words, his choice of black coffee is only to help him focus on his work. Yet when he finishes his work, Enforcer will pull out a separate coffee brewing set. He often spends hours at a time comparing the differences in flavor caused by varying degrees of roasting, configuring the perfect blend of coffee bean varieties, optimizing the proper ratio of cream and sugar, and even subscribing to the Bolivar Agricultural magazine just to read the coffee planting columns, even though the magazine is often delivered months late. If Enforcer ever invites you to try the new blend of coffee he whipped up after work, be sure to accept his offer. You won't be disappointed. However, if you ever accept a cup of coffee from him during work hours, be sure to determine whose cup it is. But yeah, he's like, they're so cute. They're so cute. But yeah, that's another thing, Al. A lot of the Sancta, all of the Sancta really like sweets, including Executor, including Federico. Even though you wouldn't notice that. You wouldn't, or I mean, it's not exactly something that's expected, but yes. Like most of the other Sancta, there are a few points where you can see, like, he likes sweets. Yes! Yeah! God, all these operators, they have so much personality to them. Again, like, I was talking about, like, I mentioned the Smasher Pass I but honestly, more than anything, it's just a reason for me to go through each and every operator and just gush about them. Again, I wouldn't talk as long necessarily, because again, Executor is one of my particular favorites, but I could probably spend like over 15-30 minutes talking about each and every one of these operators. They just have that much to them. I could spend so long just talking about each and every single one of them. The writers, Arknight's writers are absolutely incredible. It's amazing what they do with every single one of them. God. But yes, anyways. thank you for listening to that. I like how my channel is still a real quick daily CC, even though I did CC for what, like, the first 15 minutes? I did like CC for what, the first 15 minutes, and then the rest of this was talking about Arknight's lore and then talking about Executor. God. Oh man. But yeah, thank you again. It's fantastic. I really love this. I should do I should do streams where I just gush about a series of operators. Like, God, the next operator, honestly, I'm so, there's two operators that I really wanted to get during the break, and I was actually saving up mats for them, mats and Orundum for them before I took my little my break thing. And they were Winnar and Dorothy. Winnar is horse. Winnar is a corporate wage slave and also a past knight of Casmira's, and he is a middle-aged horseman, and he is awesome. And they wait, I actually hold on. I have something saved. So you know this. We know this, of course, right? We know this, of course. Well, there's a CG that I'm so fucking mad that I missed from Winnar's event, because do you see look at this. I saw this and I was just like, oh my god. Man. Corporate wants you to find the difference between these two pictures. They're the same picture. Anyways, Winnar is great, and I think I have another picture from his event so you can actually kind of see more of him. It's him and Toland, who is another of his past friends. Winnar is the blonde one. It's the meme! It's literally the fucking meme! I've just, oh man. But yes, Winnar is incredible, and I used him a few times, borrowed him for a few things in CC, and I want him so fucking bad. Middle-aged corporate slave horseman. I love how, also side note, we hear a lot with like character development, or like, you know, what caused these characters to join Rhodes Island and all this stuff. You know, when you read Winnar's fucking introduction on his, when he was announced in CN, you read his fucking introduction, and his letter that talks about, you know, what's his reasoning for joining this, it's because he finally fucking quit his job. like there's so much more to it, because Casmira's goes into a whole bunch of stuff about capitalism and modernization and all that stuff, but just on the surface of just like he quit his job. He's great. Anyways, he's the next one who I would fucking gush like all hell about. But yes, with that, it is very fucking late for me, and I need to go to sleep, get some rest today. So I'm going to look for, who can I raid? Who can I raid? But yes, thank you. It's so real. Oh my god, yes. But yeah, thank you again for listening to me just talk about an angel for 2 hours. I love Federico so much, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're enjoying this as well. I'm so glad, like, just seeing you just like awooga and react like that. It's the fucking validation is wonderful. Who should I raid? Oh yeah, monthly. Oh yeah, monthly reset, huh? It's fucking July, isn't it? Oh boy. Okay. I think we're going to raid Paper Bag CH. Very cool PNG tuber and artist currently playing retro. I don't know what that is, so I guess we'll find out. But yeah. Oh my god, you're right, new IS3. Ah, shit. Oh, hello. Oh no, Lucid. I am just about ending, cause it is like 4 in the fucking morning for me. But I'm glad you were able to drop by and we were able to chat at least for a little bit. And again, I will be trying to do this, well, we'll see how late I go. Usually, okay, to be honest, I usually try not to go this late, but, yeah, I gotta go get some rest. But yes, thank you all for coming by again, and thank you for listening to me gush. And we are going to raid Paper Bag CH. And oh god damn it, I misspelled it. Ooh, they're both boys? Good luck. Good luck. Again, congratulations. I'm so glad, like, congratulations on that. I mean, you didn't mention, like, of course it's stressful, and I mean, good luck with everything, but I mean, that's fantastic. I'm gonna start this raid now, and then, I don't have a special raid message today, or any, well, yeah, I don't have a special raid message today that I can think of, so you feel free to use this one, or, the no sub raid, if I can spell this correctly. The first delve. Good question. And then, oh yeah, if you would like to use the emotes, I have the emotes on like the lowest cost for my channel points. If you'd like to try using, if you'd like to redeem those. Oh god, not the lag. Not the lag. But anyways, folks, again, thank you for coming by. I'll be seeing about. Oh god, I would almost have done the CC for today, but I really need to rest. And we'll see how things go. But yes, so take care, everyone. I'll see you around. I've been trying to do more frequent ones, at least for the duration of CC, and then hopefully we can go through some of the new Arknights events. And oh man, I gotta see. I gotta look at oh man, I gotta do some more Arknights story too. But yes, anyways, take care, everyone. Have a good night. Al, feel free to send me that friend request on Arknights, and yeah. Bye, Al, and Lucid, and Bonnie, and thank you for the raid, and Orange Kiwi, and everyone.